DeFi Slate team.
What's up, y'all? Real quick, if you like the DeFi Slate content on Twitter and YouTube and Substack, please give us a like and a subscribe on this video on YouTube. Join our channel, join the community. We'd really appreciate it. We're pumping this stuff out for y'all as much as we can, and we really enjoy the support and the community that we've built. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Yo, it's your boy Andy, my second recording of the day, baby. We're going strong. We've got ETH all-time highs today. We are here with Mel. Mel is working with the team at monolith.xyz. .xyz is a really interesting little a domain thing. I've seen that a lot more in crypto than anywhere else. .com seems too corporate-like. Anyways, Monolith is super cool. They have a bunch of cool crypto cards, a bunch of cool kind of on-ramps, and really trying to bring crypto into the real world, if you will. Because, sometimes we kind of operate in our own little world here. So, it's definitely good to try to keep pushing that into the real world and get legacy finance and the legacy world, which kind of makes it seem like the world's old, but hey, everything's moving fast, kind of on board with what's going on here. So I'm going to let Mel kind of give himself a little introduction, hype himself up a bit, and let's dive into Monolith after that. What's up, Mel? How are you doing?
Hi, Andy, and hello, everyone. I'm doing good. I think we're in very exciting times, right? Like everyone listening to this, I think we're literally witnessing potentially one of the biggest shifts in our society in a century. So, and it's exciting to ultimately, get to experience this transcendental moment for humanity. And well, that's on a macroscopic level, of course, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I agree. So how did you get with Monolith, and kind of like, what's your background?
So Monolith is basically this dream that I had it's now like 5 or so years ago. I was one of the first people who I guess was had abandoned the traditional finance world and was trying to live exclusively on Bitcoin, right? And I'd canceled my bank accounts and I only had a Bitcoin wallet, and I tried to make that work. I was traveling across the world, and it basically was very, very difficult, right? There are very few places that at the time accepted Bitcoin, and it still hasn't changed much today. And so, but nevertheless, I really wanted to live this, be one of the first people to live in this new economy. And so that's literally what Monolith is about. It's this product that we've designed where you can use your crypto essentially in the real world, right? So you can use it effectively as something to replace your regular bank, right? Your Bank of America or whatever else, right? And so that means we have a Visa debit card. That means we have a non-custodial wallet, right? And our ultimate goal is that, we know that what's happening on Ethereum and on other blockchains, but mostly on Ethereum right now, is this massive explosion in DeFi, right? And we saw this coming back in the early days, that there would be this Ethereum economy. We didn't quite know what it would look like, but today it's clear that the first real core parts of it is going to be decentralized finance, these decentralized financial services. And the core idea is that our products will, because of DeFi, we will be able to give people a far more compelling and far more profitable, ultimately, financial experience or experience of money that they cannot get in the traditional world, right? And we need to make this work for people's lives. We need to be able to embed this into their daily lives. And so we have to have the ability for people to add money to the platform, and the ability for people to use, these finances in their daily lives, spend it on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did the name come from? How did you come up with that?
So, I guess, a lot of your listeners or viewers, a lot of us are quite young. And so my guess is this isn't going to be completely familiar to everyone, but there's the Stanley Kubrick movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's from 1969 or something. It's 3 hours long. But in that movie, which I watched around the time that my co-founder and I, David, that we were like all about Ethereum, right? This was during the time we first were like really getting into Ethereum in 2015, and we just watched this movie, and in this movie, this monolith appears. This big black stone appears every time humanity is transcending from one level of technology to the next. So going from the Stone Age, where like it's a bunch of apes, right, into like the moment that they discover like technology. Essentially, it's every time that transition happens from the Stone Age to civilization to the space age to eventually the singularity, the monolith is there, and it represents that moment in time of acceleration and this leap. And it dawned on us that what we were seeing happen with Ethereum, and this Ethereum platform was virtually was actually the real life equivalent to Stanley Kubrick's Monolith, right? That Ethereum represents this technological leap for our society on a potentially much more profound level than even people today realize. We really are able to re-architect the fundamental fabric of our society. It's like going from like the French Revolution age, which is what we live in now, right? That's when democracy was created, and we've kind of been, like reeling high on on that phase. But it's kind of coming to this end, right? Like it's not able to deal with the challenges we're going to be facing this coming century. And what Ethereum allows us to do is basically enter what I like to call the space age. It's partially because I like space, but mainly because it literally is, we're going to build a future society with Ethereum that is able to deal with the challenges we face in the world today, whether it's corruption or climate change or whatever, and will allow us to, build, we can literally imagine this being the foundation for a society that reaches the stars, right? You cannot imagine that today with the corrupt political systems that power our world today, right? It's archaic. And this is the world that Dave and I realized back then. We were living in Taiwan, that we were going to be part of. And we saw this Monolith movie and it was like, that's it, that's Ethereum. And that's what we want to call our company, right? We want to materialize the power of Ethereum.
That's wild. Maybe a little bit of psychedelics in there too. Hey, we'll get into that. But wow, what an interesting story. I mean, that's awesome. I like that idea of Monolith, and obviously the deep-seated kind of realm of Ethereum. Because it's deep, as I said. Like it's just it goes and it goes and it goes. And it's awesome that you're able to see that and identify that. And now, been working on Monolith for 4 years now.
Yeah, 3.5, almost 4 years. Yeah. Nice.
So real quick, for those who don't understand or aren't quite aware yet, Monolith is...
It is effectively a banking replacement, right? I'm not allowed to legally say it's a bank because that involves all kinds of regulation, all this sort of stuff, but it is trying to replace your bank with the same functions as your bank. But all the financial services are powered by DeFi, right? So your lending, your interest rate, and whatever is all powered by DeFi. But you don't have to become some sort of freak living in the decentralized world. No, you can still do all your daily financial stuff, right? You can still receive your salary. You can still pay, like for your Gatorade or whatever, right? Or a new pair of skis.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, it's trying to give people a second option from a bank. You've got a debit card effectively with what you can spend. You can store stable coins in there that earn interest on Aave. You can spend your crypto at anywhere that accepts like a Visa card, right?
Yeah, that's completely right. So what we're trying to do this year is what we've made so far is we've built this powerful Ethereum wallets, right? For essentially people who understand DeFi, right? People like yourself, right? Well, I'm now kind of describing as the DeFi elites. More and more, it's become like the DeFi elites. There's this massive knowledge gap between people like us who are super into the space and everyone else out there in the world, right? We're able to benefit from all these, things that are coming out in DeFi, and they're not. And that's what we want to solve this year. So we have been thinking a lot about how we can try and build a DeFi experience of money that normal people can use, right? That I could literally finally give to my mom, right? And
yeah.
she can ditch the Dutch bank that she uses, right? Which she can't do today. And that's kind of the roadmap that we have for the year. That involves solving, some of the major issues like gas and how people interact with DeFi, right? To me and you, choosing between CDAI and ADAI or CUSD and whatever, this is a choice that makes sense to us, right? We've kind of followed how the industry is developed, and we have a sense of what each is and how it works and what it means. But to anyone else, right, especially someone who doesn't really care about money, just wants to make money work, this is an outrageous idea that's definitely going to scare them off from DeFi, right? The idea that you have to choose between 20 different dollar tokens. What does that even mean? Why are there even 20 different versions of it, right?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. And by the time that, that's where the complexity is today. But in 5 years, there's going to be $1,000 tokens, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, people like us won't even be able to keep up with DeFi, right? It's already starting to happen, right? Like I'm focused on our company and solving these challenges. I can't even keep up anymore with all the stuff that's happening.
It's crazy.
With DeFi.
There's so many things happening.
There's so much happening.
Yeah.
And therefore, it seems to us that the real challenge we have to solve, Monolith wants to solve, is the challenge of how will 1 billion people truly interact with DeFi? And the answer to that may not always be how the industry thinks of it today, right? How a lot of people in the industry would say it's going to happen. And it may not be something anyone has even consciously come up with yet, right? It's a journey. But Monolith we are setting ourselves up for that journey, right? We think that with the rate of acceleration, right? That within 5 years, definitely within 10 by the end of this decade, but probably within 5 years, the amount of magic and insane financial, quote, in parentheses, a lot more than financial, possibilities on Ethereum and in DeFi and on maybe other blockchains will be so incredibly big and compelling that if anyone manages to make a consumer experience of money that uses that, it'll attract 1 billion people, right? It's possible. There will be a DeFi experience of money that 1 billion people use within the next 5 years. And that's what we want to build.
So let's go more into that. I'm going to pull up the Monolith website. Here we are. Looks great. Just hide this real quick. And boom. So here's the Monolith website. So from what we've just said, we're trying to onboard basically as many people as possible in the DeFi, make it easy. So decentralized platform on Ethereum. This is what it looks like. Alrighty. So here we go. All right. Wallet, security, and card. All right. So let's go over all these real quick. Apocalypse resistant. Your funds won't disappear if everything else does. Fair enough. The blockchain isn't going anywhere. Deploy your own contract wallet. So basically you can have your own wallet within the app that can engage with any contract effectively. Dex aggregator. So y'all have inside of the app, there is a Dex where you can trade that aggregates from, I assume, Uniswap and SushiSwap and Balancer, etc. Add money so you can onboard your dollars or your euros or whatever it is through ramp, I assume, or some sort of fiat on ramp.
We build the fiat on ramp ourselves.
Nice.
Indeed. Even though ramp is amazing, the company ramp. Yeah.
Cool. And then wallet connect is basically so you can use other wallets within Monolith that you have, and then ENS is kind of like your own domain. Cool. So did I miss anything there?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
I'm sure I did.
I mean, there's a lot to say. There's indeed, I mean, so there are some other tabs right above.
Yeah. We can go over those as well.
Well, but I guess the point is, I think our wallet today truly is optimized for the DeFi elites, right? The Ethereum elites. And so, yeah, I think a lot of the features that aren't listed here that we're working on are ones that are going to make this very easy for the general public, right? Like, it shouldn't be that adding money to your Monolith wallets that you then have to kind of fend for yourself and try to figure out which dollar tokens to hold, right?
It's almost like, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's almost like you want to use all of the DeFi backend that you are so aware of and so knowledgeable of with like the simplest front end. Like, okay, I want US dollar. I want to earn interest. 2 clicks of a button. Everything else happens on the back end. But like, I mean like, okay, I want to hold 100 euros or 1,000 euros, or I want to have 10K in my savings account and I want that to earn interest. And that's all I want to do. I don't even want to know how it happens, you know?
Yeah. You're literally describing a UI. That's completely correct. Yeah.
So how do you kind of, like, short and sweet, how do you kind of come up with that? So do you optimize for the best strategies for earning that yield? You know, how do you kind of create that UI? What goes into that thought process?
I think, so one of the issues in working with Ethereum today that kind of is guiding our design process is the issue of gas, right? So we've been one of the companies hardest hit by gas for sure. Because like you're pointing out here, we deploy a contract wallet for every user, right? So right now, every user gets their own contract wallet. This costs us money and it costs the user money to interact with it. This is idealistic, but for the mass market, we probably have to come up with something slightly different. So that's what we're doing now.
Because every time you have a user, you basically have to pay to create that wallet.
Yeah.
And you guys are paying for that.
And okay, so let's say we have 10,000 users.
Yeah.
And all of them want, you know, they have DAI in their wallet, right? But they want C DAI or they want A DAI. They are individually going to have to do a swap or, you know, create the C DAI, which costs all of them gas. But the magic of Ethereum, to me, it seems, part of it is that, like, it doesn't matter if you're doing it for $10 or for $1 billion, it costs the same amount of money to do that process. And so why do we have like 10,000 people individually doing that instead of just one transaction, which does 10,000? And so, given that what we're talking about building is this consumer version of DeFi, you know, like you could probably assume that the vast majority of consumers in the future using DeFi will be using a very small number of financial services, right? Only the best ones, right? It's just like with apps on your phone, you know, like, sure, it was fun back in the day. You downloaded like 50 new apps right, a week.
Yeah, but you only use 5 of them.
Yeah, but now you only use 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
And probably, especially when it comes to finances, it's going to be very similar for the vast majority of people they use. And so why don't we just focus on making those few things that are most important to people really, really accessible and really, really cheap to use? The bloody problem with DeFi today is that you could get 10% interest, you could get 100% interest for all you care. But the moment you, you know, like, leave the position or whatever, all that interest is wiped away because of the gas costs.
Unless you're like a massive whale or you've been in the position for, you know, months to years. Exactly,
right? Exactly. So DeFi is becoming an elitist game, right? Only if you have a lot of money, can you kind of do what you want and still make a profit.
Yeah, especially with Ethereum going up, which is kind of contradictory.
Yeah,
people are getting priced out.
Yeah, exactly. And so therefore it seems to us that in the medium term, and this is before layer twos have obviously like properly start to roll out, but even then, before it all kind of works well together, right? But in the medium term, the only way that I see a consumer using DeFi meaningfully is if it's kind of bundled up into, hey, we all act as one collective together on the blockchain, rather than like, each person for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working on. And we think that if we nail it, like in a lot of countries, interest rates are not even remotely close to what you can get on Ethereum today. And that's a pretty killer product.
It is. And I mean, yeah, the grouping and the batching would be huge. Figuring that out is going to be crucial. I mean, obviously. And yeah. And layer two, I mean, gas has just been a huge problem. I mean, I think now as price of Ethereum goes up, I mean, we're seeing Uniswap transactions, $80, $60 to withdraw and deposit in Aave and Compound, $150. It's crazy. But let's shift our focus to the card. So this is where I believe the Monolith card is. All right, so let's go over this. So what do we've got here? We've got a card for the English folks. They're the British folks. We've got a card for all of Europe. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. We offer a euro and a pound card.
Okay, so let's go over the Euro card. I would assume it probably fits more. Unfortunately, there's no States one, but that's totally okay. There's a lot of regulations in the States. It's not exactly the ideal place to build for DeFi. It's kind of funny to start to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is very regulated as well.
Switzerland's the place to be.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got here? So there's no fee for any month or to get the card. So every time you make a purchase, there is a small fee.
So we give people. Okay, what my goal was when we made this was to make this literally be a viable replacement to your bank, right? And that means that it can't cost you, there shouldn't be any significant fees in there. And so what some of our competitors will do is they'll give you a poor exchange rate, right? So they'll say, oh, the price of ETH isn't this much, it's not $1,500, $1,500, but it's actually like $1,400 or something.
Right.
But they won't tell you, and they'll say 0%. We don't do that. We literally get the rates from Uniswap and we get the rate from Kraken. And then we charge you a very transparent fee.
Yeah.
And then we have an additional 1% fee, which goes to the TK and asset contracts. So this is our token. So our token holders effectively get 1% of the card volume.
Every time they top up or every time there's a transaction being spent, basically.
Yeah, every time money gets added on the card.
Nice. So that's kind of where the cash flow mechanism for the TK and token comes from, is the usage of the product.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. And there's a purchase limit, a spend limit. Cool. Looks good. Nice. So basically, if someone's interested in getting this card in Europe and is watching this video, their main use would be if they're in DeFi, if they own crypto, basically they can send the crypto to this card or to the Monolith wallet, and then the wallet is able to then top it up to USD to euros or to pounds, and basically you can spend that anywhere a Visa is accepted. So it's effectively just basically avoiding all banks in general, just kind of going through Monolith.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that stage, right? And we're getting to the point where you will probably never need a traditional financial service ever again. You can literally live your life on DeFi. And that's what Monolith's trying to provide for people.
Yeah, because this is the big key. I mean, gas is obviously huge for in the ecosystem, but you got to be able to get out into the real world until if Ethereum or, DAI is ever accepted at a bar, right? Until that even is the case. And that may never be the case, or it might take years, right? Until that happens, this is key, right? Getting a way to get out of the system into the real world, and so that's kind of what we're solving. So, I love to see it. That's That's awesome. Now, let's see. What does help? What do we do with help here? Is this going to be like docs? Nice.
Yeah, it's our support page.
Cool. Obviously, every account requires KYC just for the regulations in Europe, I would assume.
Yeah, we are very, very regulated in Europe. So we have to follow all the rules, and we do.
Nice. Is it, oh my gosh, I thought that was you, man. There's Mel.
Well, maybe,
David,
maybe
Pete.
it is.
Look at this. Full team. Wow. These people.
Yeah, I mean, we've added a lot of new people. These are the people with the placeholder image with the guy with the These are all people who joined during the pandemic, so we haven't been able to take pictures of them yet, but our team's quite big now.
Wow, you guys have quite the team now, eh?
Yeah, we're like 28 people or something, I think. Yeah,
that's awesome. Community, nice. This is a dope website. Cool. That's awesome. So, okay, so let's go over this again for our audience. So we've got the Monolith card and the Monolith app. So walk us through kind of so we're in Europe, we're looking to get going and to start to use Monolith. How are we doing this?
If you are a person who either wants to get into DeFi and you want to be able to like add money to the wallet to use in DeFi, or if more likely you're someone who's made a decent amount of money in the last few years, right?
Oh, never. How could you? Come on, Mel. That's not a possibility.
Then, this is a product for you, right? Like you remain in control of it yourself. And you can, you can feel good every time you use your card because you're literally, going from a decentralized, from the decentralized world into the normal world, only at the point of sale and not a moment before, right? And yeah, like this is for you, right? Have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, and this is kind of how I've seen it. Is like, okay, why do I even need a bank anymore? I mean, obviously they like pay rent a bit, some things, but okay, so I can just hold my money in DeFi. If the market's going up and I'm bullish, I hold assets that I think are going to go up, ETH, wrap Bitcoin even, right? And if the market's going down or I want to take some profits, I just put it into stable coins, earn some yield. Well, if I want to buy more, I can just take it out. And then whenever I'd like to actually use my funds, I just send it to the card, top it up, and it's game on. So it's like I got a bank account in DeFi. I've got an investment portfolio in DeFi. I can do yield farming. I can do LPing, right? I can do all of my work and my job elsewhere. But as long as my money is here, I can always be making money and then always use that money through Monolith to live life. And so it's like you really start to see over the next few weeks, months, years, even especially like, you're not even going to need to like do everything else that has been happening. Like you just don't like, there's just like, you could use that card for every purchase that you spend, like everything. It's, once you get on that, it's just like crazy. Like, it's like, what is going on? So I applaud you for this creation and this work as a founder. You're working hard on one project for a long time. It's absolutely awesome. And yeah, any closing thoughts, Mel?
I guess, like what you just said, right? The goal is to allow people who aren't so emotionally dedicated to our space, like us, right? To extract value from the space in the same way. Like our goal is to bring this to everyone else, right? And the sooner we can do that, the sooner we can actually start to really change the world in a meaningful way, right? Like, and I think DeFi and the larger industry is, it's the right industry to be in if you want to actually meaningfully change the world in the next decade. And it's going to be crazy, and we're gonna be part of it. So
it's awesome. Absolutely awesome, Mel. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad that we could both make time for this. Those who are still listening, thank you for watching. Definitely got a good overview of kind of what Monolith is aiming to do, how to get involved. Get yourself a Monolith card if you're from Europe. Check it out. Follow them Twitter, Instagram, or not Instagram, Twitter, on Telegram and Discord. Check them out. And yeah, Mel, it was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Andy. I very much enjoyed this as well.
Peace, buddy.
Take care.